Let's look at this valuable coin here. 1957 Italy 100 lire. I'll put that on the ground there. I have my glove on because I don't want to get it scratched up and get fingerprints all over it because it's a valuable coin. It's like $100 and something coin, right? The reason why I'm doing this test is because I want to be able to hit that stainless steel coin there, right? And with your just normal settings, right, on any machine, you're not going to be able to hit that coin, right? Sounds like a nail. Sounds, you'll just skip right over it, right? And I've tweaked on these machines for several hours, you know, and I've come to the conclusion that the X35 coil hits on bottle caps really good. It's hard to hear that clicking tone when you're above a bottle cap, right? With the HF coil, I know when I'm above a bottle cap, especially in the higher frequencies. The higher frequencies gives you that clicking, you know, that little bit of clicking action. And I'm not backing out of the coil, I'm not backing my coil out, I'm not pumping my coil over my targets. I'm just swinging over it a couple times and I just know what it is, right? That's what I want in a detector. I want to swing over a target. If I get a target, swing over it fast and just dig it up, right? And I want to know kind of what I'm digging up, and I want to know exactly where it's at in the ground, how deep, and how where it's positioned in the ground. And the HF coil does a very good job at that, pinpointing targets, because you get a really tight response on coins, right? I don't have to mess with my coil backing it out and pinpointing it and stuff. I just sweep over it a couple times, boom, I dig it up. With the X35 coil, I've struggled a little bit, especially with the ground balance issue. At first, when I started using the Deus with all my coils, the Deus, I struggled for a few months there at first, dialing it in, but I finally just, I don't really have to dial the machine in anymore. You know, I have one setting, and even if I get in some hot soil there, I know what to listen for, right? And with the X35 coil, those bottle caps are hard to hear, you know, that clicking tone. And it's really sensitive on iron. It's sensitive on round piece of iron, and it's sensitive on nails too, right? It's sensitive on iron. The lower frequencies are very sensitive iron. If you put your machine in a lower frequency and if you have your iron on, the iron will be really loud without having to adjust any of the iron volume, right? The higher frequencies that you go, it's not going to favor the iron. So the iron is going to be a lower volume and a lower tone, especially with the HF coils. The iron really has a low tone to it. With the X35 coil, it's hard to explain what the frequencies do to the iron. But what I think is happening here with the X35 coil, the reason why I've struggled with it so much, especially in the lower frequencies, I have really hot soil, and with the lower frequencies that you're in, even the Equinox too, the lower frequencies that you're in, you're putting more power to the coil, right? It's obvious because the batteries go faster in your Deus and your coil here too. The batteries don't last nearly as long as in this coil as the HF coils. You know, it's just a known fact. You know, the higher frequencies use less power. And what I've noticed too, through a lot of hours of testing and in the field hunting, the lower frequency coil is very sensitive right in the center of the coil right here, right? And the higher frequencies that I go to when I'm using this X35 coil, the higher frequencies that I use, the more sensitive the coil gets up towards the tip. And I've done a lot of hunting with the elliptical HF coil too, and that coil is extremely sensitive right on the tip. The most sensitive part of that coil when I'm in a higher frequency is right on the tip of that coil there. The same with the HF 9-inch round. The higher frequency that I'm in, the more sensitive it is towards the tip of the coil. If I'm in 14 kilohertz with the high frequency coil, it's more sensitive down here. You know, that's just one of my theories. But let's test this coin out here. And I've tested the Equinox, the Simplex, and the HF coil on this coin here, and they just don't perform, right? I've tried everything. Negative ground balance, low frequencies, iron volumes up and down, and volume levels up and down, gains up and down. I've tried for several hours to hit this coin, and I finally figured it out right here. Hot program is going to hit it, but it only in a couple different settings, right? Like I said, the X35 coil favors iron, right? I'm going to get higher tones on the iron, and I'm going to get lower tones on the higher conductors, like coins. This is about a 3 or 4 inch deep coin here. So I'm in 17 kilohertz, and I'll just change my frequency here, right, up to 25 kilohertz. I'll get a higher tone rate. Now I'll change my frequency down to 17 kilohertz. Listen to it. It's just a little bit lower in hertz, right? It's a little bit lower tone. The only thing I'm changing is my frequency. I'm not changing any tones or anything. I'm just changing the frequency. Now I'll go down to 11.3. Actually, I'll go back up to 17. 25. 17. A little bit lower. 11. It's even lower. 7. It's still hitting it, but it's a lower tone, right? 4 kilohertz. Really low tone. So the lower frequencies that you're in on the higher conductors, you're going to get a lower tone. And with the iron, it's going to give you a higher tone. In the higher frequencies, it's going to give you a higher tone on your higher conductors, and a lower tone on your lower conductors, if that makes sense, if you can get that, right? But 4 kilohertz is not going to hit that. Oops, I just scratched it. It's not going to hit that coin, right? All those other machines will not hit this coin because it's iron, right? It's stainless steel. I don't want to scratch that coin up, so I gotta be careful here. So I'll go to my ground balance here and watch what the ground balance does to it. Come on. 60. Now watch what it does to all these nails here, right? All of a sudden, these nails don't sound like that coin right there, right? I'm really negative on my ground balance here, right? And you can hear it as I pull up on the coil, negative ground balance, right? This trick probably won't work if you have a lot of hot ground, or if you have a lot of hot soil, hot rocks, you know, because hot rocks, you want to lift your ground balance up a little bit so you're not digging up so many hot rocks. And I run in that situation a lot. You know, there's a lot of hot rocks in hot soil, which makes it really hard to ground balance a machine to dial it in just right. Now I'll come over this coin here at 3 or 4 inches deep. It's still hitting that coin, right? And I'll come down another coin that I know that's down here at 5 inches deep. It's a clad dime at 5 inches deep. I'm getting a lot of ground unbalancing here, right? But it's still hitting that coin right there, right? So it's not affecting my depth too much. See, watch, I'll get over the concrete, right? The X35 coil doesn't really do very well in hot soil or around concrete or around hot rocks, or just basically around any rocks, period. Any of my rocks in my area, because I have a lot of hot rocks. But it's hitting that coin, that stainless steel coin that the other detectors will not hit. The Simplex won't hit it because it's only 12 kilohertz machine. The Equinox won't hit it because I can't go really low. I can't go really low on my ground balance, right? I've always struggled with the Equinox with the ground balance issue. I've never been able to figure that out. I just don't know why. I've tried the iron biases and the frequencies on the Equinox, just won't hit this coin. But I have to do more testing on the Equinox because I want to hit this coin, right? I want to hit this coin with the Equinox. I know I will eventually. But watch what happens. I'm at 60 ground balance, which is very, very low. And I'll go change the frequency up to 7 kilohertz. And watch. Doesn't hit it nearly as well. But see, I'm getting a higher tone on that coin right there than 4 kilohertz, right? 4 kilohertz gives me a really low tone, like I said before. The lower frequencies are going to give you a lower tone for those higher conductive targets, right? But I want to kind of dial it in here a little bit, right? With this really negative ground balance. And still hit this coin and still hit that coin, the one that's buried in the ground there. Higher conductive target and a lower conductive target. 11 kilohertz is not going to do it, right? So I have to be in 7 kilohertz, right? So what I want to do is I want to get it the highest tone possible on that higher conductive target, but I also want to be hitting that. So I'll stay in 7.7 kilohertz because I'm still hitting it, right? Now I'll just raise my ground balance up here. See what's going to hit it and what's not going to hit it. It won't hit it. I have to be at basically 60 kilohertz or 60 ground balance to be able to hit that coin there. Now, what if I go over to 4 kilohertz, back down to 4 kilohertz? Actually, I can go down to, I can actually go a little bit lower than this, 3-point-something kilohertz, 3.7 kilohertz, and then from there raise my ground balance up, because I know that it's going to hit that coin no matter what, right? But I think I prefer the 7 kilohertz at 60. Because that coin down there is giving me a higher tone there, right? There's just such a big difference between the iron and the higher conductive targets. But I'm still hitting that coin there at, right? I'm at low frequency here, right? I'm going up to 67, 60, 69. I'm still hitting that. But I'm not pulsing on the iron, right? Which the Equinox was pulsing really bad when I put it in lower ground balances. It was pulsing on a lot of nails here, right? Right there. And with the HF coil, I haven't really done a lot of testing with the HF coil on this target right here, but the HF coil doesn't have 4 kilohertz frequency, right? The HF coil just like barely hits it, right? And I'm sure that the elliptical coil probably won't even hit it, right? Because it has something to do with the frequencies. And at really, really low frequencies on that coin right there, that whole coil right here, I'll show you. I'll just explain here. The whole coil was hitting that target there, right? It just wasn't only at the tip. It was the whole coil. And as I was going up in my frequencies, when I was in 7 kilohertz frequency, it wasn't even hitting the center of the coil here, right? Right in the center here. It was hitting it only just a little bit right on the tip here. And when I was going up in my ground balance in 3 kilohertz, 3.7 kilohertz, it wasn't really affecting the place where it's most sensitive at the coil here. But when you're in lower frequencies, you're going to hit on a lot of iron, right? A lot of big, deep iron. And if you're around a lot of hot rocks, this trick will not work. I can tell you that right now. And I'm gonna do a little bit of field testing with this negative ground balance, right? I usually like having my my Deus set about 85 or 86, a little bit negative, but 60 is a long way. So I think I'll try I'll try to do the negative ground balance at 70 and see if that's going to work. Even though I'm not really trying to get stainless steel coins, because they haven't really minted any stainless steel coins in the United States. The only stainless steel coins that they've minted were during the war, and if a coin's been in the ground and it's stainless steel, it's going to be toast in just a few years, right? This coin has been in a coin collection for a lot of years, so that's why I have my gloves on, because I don't want to really scratch it up. It's kind of a valuable coin. I shouldn't really have it out of the case right now. Hope I didn't scratch it. Well, hopefully this helps you guys. If you guys are trying to get stainless steel coins, you know, we have it really good here in the United States. You know, most of our coins have been copper, and the newer coins are zinc, you know. But a lot of countries have minted stainless steel coins, and a lot of countries now are minting iron coins with iron core in them. You know, it's hard to detect iron coins around hot soil or a bunch of iron nails in the ground. So, well, hopefully this helps. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.